to this year's sophomore presidential debate. The following 8 people are your candidates for the president and vice president positions on the 2017 to 2018 sophomore council. The following candidates are Aldrin, Liam, Jose, Rahul, I'm so sorry, Rahul, Chris, Parib, Carmel, Rafatul. Today's debate will include 5 questions taken from a survey submitted to the high school student body. Due to time constraints, each question will be directed at only 3 of the candidates in the order which they would be announced. After the first planned section of the debate, we will open the floor to questions from the audience, which will go on to the end of lunch. With that, let's begin the debate. Candidates, when a question is asked, you'll have 30 seconds to think of first for the answer. You'll have a maximum of 1 minute to give your answer. At 45 seconds, we will hit the table once, so you have a chance to wrap up appropriately. However, do not feel compelled to occupy the entire time, as the best answers are not all necessarily the longest ones. Are you ready? Let's begin. The first question will be answered by Jose, Chris, and Rafatul in that order. What do you think is the biggest issue of the batch facing right now, and how do you plan to address it?
In Bob, we were able to finish 3rd. However, in the talent in our batch, I believe that we could do even better. So that could be, and to do better in Bob, we need to be able to increase our school spirit. So to do that, I believe that we need to be able to celebrate everyone's individual achievements. So that could be, for example, by means of one big corkboard, in which whenever someone does well in a certain sport, we can say, oh, for example, Rahul, gold in wall climbing. So, yes, that's the biggest thing that we can address in the next year.
I think that the biggest problem that our batch faces is spirit. I remember last year during Bob, I was playing Quidditch on the side, and I remember like seeing a bunch of kids or our grade behind the goals, but they weren't really like showing spirit. They were just playing with each other, like playing. Yeah, they were just playing with each other. But like we didn't have any other events at the time. But so I think we could have used that time more effectively by enforcing spirit and showing that our batch truly is a spirited batch.
Well, I like to think that our batch doesn't really have any big problems, but I think one thing we can address is communication. Even simple things such as whether it's assembly or advisory on Mondays or Wednesdays, I think that the grade needs to know what they're doing, because in the past, there's been a lot of communication errors during like Bob or other events.
Okay, the next question goes to Liam, Hari, and Carmel. What skills do you possess that can set you apart as a leader Sorry, let me rephrase that. What skills do you possess that set you apart as a leader that we should elect you?
So I think one skill that I possess is that I have experience because I was in this council before. So I've actually planned things like Bob and Saturday services. So with me and Aldrin, we are the only 2 that were in council before, so that lets us actually know how to improve on our mistakes from last year so we can make the grade even better.
I like to think that I'm a pretty nice person. Hopefully you guys agree. But I think that actually does come into a huge part of being a leader, especially for our batch, because I think, especially since I didn't have a leadership position in council last year, I come from a place where I kind of understand the issues that a lot of us faced with the council, which maybe people who were in the no shade, maybe people who were in the council weren't able to see. So hopefully I can use that. Also, with the niceness thing, hopefully I can be a leader that you guys think isn't too intimidating but can get the job done, which is something I think I can do.
The thing that I think sets me apart from the other candidates, I think that everyone here has like the leadership traits. They're like responsible, they know how to lead. But something that I think sets me apart is that while everyone is very leadership-like, I think that I would be a good president because not only am I that, but I'm also like chill and laid back and not super, I don't get super stressed over things. And also another thing is like passion. I actually like I'm pretty passionate about making our grade like one and like making us all feel like we're together, and like that will help us in Bob with the spirit points. So I think that's beautiful.
The next question goes to Aldrin, Rahul, and Chris. What would you do differently to make Bob more fun and enjoyable next year for the class of 2020?
All right, so I think that Bob this year overall was a success. However, I always think that there's always room for improvement. And one of the most important things that we could do that is by having more input from you guys, like what Perry said. And one of the things I'm planning for next year is to have advisory representatives from each advisory. And the thing is, with this system, literally everyone from each advisory could have a say in the table and could voice out their opinion. So whether it's improving whatever we do in Bob, or whether it's our cheer that we need to improve, we could hear your own opinion, and by doing that, we could increase your batch unity. And not only that, but also our morale as a batch would increase dramatically. And I think that will be incredibly good for Bob next year.
Like Aldrin said, I think we had a pretty good Bob this year. I mean, we tied for third place. But one of the things that I think we could have improved, and I don't want to point any fingers to the current council, but I think we could have had a better spirit committee, because in some events there were almost no freshmen cheering. So I think that if we improved the spirit committee, we would have an even better Bob and maybe even win it.
The greatest leadership action I think a council member can take is to make sure the committees that are made pre-Bob, so Spirit and Cheer and Visual Committee, are actually of student input. I remember last year I was part of the Cheer Committee, and I don't think our cheer was even based near to what we thought it was going to be. I think it was based with the help of a teacher. So I think that it didn't really work efficiency. So I think by having the incentive to join committees or pushing people towards a committee, I think we can get an overall better Bob experience and have it more enjoyable, as there is the student input.
The next question goes to Pari, Carmel, and Rahul. What are you most excited to accomplish if elected, and how would you incorporate the batch's ideas to make it happen?
So I know that as class council, we don't really have the power to like cancel school days as much as I would like that, or things like that. But I think next year what I really want to do is make sure that our batch comes together, especially for events like Bob. And like Aldrin and Rahul said, that voice crack. Like Aldrin and Rahul said, I'd love to have all of us come together more in terms of planning for these events, because I think that this year we need to have a better representation of the entirety of the grade level, which is something that I do really believe I could do. So next year I want to have a way for all of us to come together more for Bob. And especially in terms of spirit points, I had an idea that we can all come together and have a forum where we all sign up for what events we'll be at to cheer. Things like that are what I'm excited to do to help our grade succeed.
The thing that I'm really excited about if I get elected is that to make Bob better, not just for like the people who are in events, but also for everyone who's involved in doing the spirit. Because I think a big part of spirit is that you like know everyone in the grade and you feel comfortable with everyone. So I feel like if I was president, there would be ways that the grade would like get to know each other better, you know. And then during Bob, at any Bob event, like you wouldn't feel awkward around your grade, and you would be happy cheering with whoever you are. So I think the spirit would be improved at Bob, and that's what I'm most excited about.
So one of the requirements of this grade is every person needs to go to at least one Saturday service. And I really enjoyed the Saturday service. But I think that in the Saturday services, we could pick better activities. Because I think a lot of these children from schools, like different schools, have like a lot of stories, and we could actually connect with them when we like meet up with them and not just play sports. But even after that, we can also play sports because
The next question goes to 4 candidates, Rafatul, Aldrin, Jose, and Liam. Who and what motivates you to be the best version of yourself?
I would agree with what Rafat said, and that it is that the student body really is what matters. But on a different level and in a different aspect though. Because I'm running not only for my CV in college or applications, but it's all about I'm running because I believe in the potential that our batch has. I believe in you guys, the batch of 2020. I believe that we have a talent that our potential could enable us to win Bob next year in spirit points and medals in terms of sports. And that is because our batch has a unique talent, and I see that talent every day when I walk around the hallway and I see each of you passing through. And so, through your vote, I would be glad to lead our batch to success next year because of your potential and because you matter.
The person that motivates me most to be the best version that I can be is my dad. I'll tell you a story about him. He grew up in the slum practically in Manila, and he got into politics, and now he's on TV, and now he's achieving the success he is today. From having nothing, he now can send me and my 2 sisters to, I think, the best school in the country. And it's his hard work that inspires me to do the best I can for you guys and just in life in general.
The person who inspires me the most is my great grandmother, because like even at 90, like plus 90, like 93 years old, she's still working hard, not working hard, but still still walking around and doing things. And so when she started the family company a long time ago, like 70 years ago, she really created something which has become the biggest bookstore in the Philippines. So this inspires me to work really hard and follow in her footsteps.
That brings us to the end of our planned question section. Members of the audience now may ask questions that they might have. Once a question is asked, I will pick on candidates who raise their hands ready with an answer. Due to time constraints, only 2 candidates will be allowed to answer each question. Go ahead.
Okay, so whenever I hear the word cyberhound, what comes to mind is all about security. And if you think about it, cyberhound is just like a canine unit in the malls, right? But then the problem is, a lot of students think about cyberhound like a German shepherd ready to pounce and attack you. But the reality is, like in so much as we want to accept it, cyberhound in our current context right now is just like one of those overfed beagles in the mall. Like they're leashed and they're passively sniffing through like the spheres of our privacy. And I think the way that we could address like the fear that we have for cyberhound is by providing you guys with more information and to increase your awareness regarding what cyberhound actually does, regarding what cyberhound actually is and what it's not. So that's really important in making you guys feel safe about the life in school and making you guys have a very balanced lifestyle.
CyberHound is essential for our internet security. It protects us from malware and other harmful websites. See, many people may think CyberHound is like a secret government app that tracks your laptop or something, but this is a myth, as Mr. Collette has already made several presentations on why CyberHound is safe and needed in ISM. So I believe that we should get rid of this CyberHound talk, because without CyberHound, how are we going to be protected from dangerous viruses on the internet or things that, just basically anything harmful?
Thank you everyone for joining this debate. What do I say? Thank you everyone to join.